study,
and play come together on a Windows 11 PC.
And for a limited time, college students get
The best of both worlds.
Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Hello and welcome to episode 346 of the Filmmakers Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk
filmmaking,
from indie film to
studio films
to
high-end TV and everything in between.
Yay! How to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to
royally F them up.
In our very, very humble opinion. I'm Giles Alderson.
I'm Dominique Lenoir.
We are writers, directors, and producers.
And Transformers.
We are Transformers. This is part 2 of our Transformers special. Rise of the Beasts, you could say. As you know, last Tuesday we had on producer Lorenzo de Bonaventura. Mega producer.
Uber producer.
As we told you then, we're doing a part 2 with the director, Steven Caple Jr. And its stars of the film, Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback. What a treat!
Yeah.
First of all, we're going to bring you the director, Steven Caple Jr. So what do we talk about, Dom?
Using reaction shots with robots for emotion. That was an exciting one. We talked about pitching a unique vision to the studios.
And we talk about how he went from an indie film, The Land, to Creed 2, to Transformers. And what it's like shooting a huge Hollywood movie, and why he cut out big finished sequences, and why he had the voice actors on set. Yeah, Steven, what a guy he was. Really lovely. And he's had a really interesting way in. He made the feature film The Land, which was his debut movie in 2016. It got a lot of buzz, got a lot of attention, did very well for him.
It landed, you could say.
That's good. It definitely did, and it was his breakthrough movie, because after that, his next movie was Creed 2, right? It's written by Sylvester Stallone, starring Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, and Sylvester Stallone, obviously. Dolph Lundgren was in there as well.
Good old Dolph, yeah.
Yeah, good old Dolph. And then he went on to make Transformers, Rise of the Beasts. What a rise.
AKA Bumblebee 2.
Indeed.
I think what's very interesting, though, is that he does have a background in having grown up on Beast Wars and Transformers himself. So he actually did pitch to the studios a genuine story idea that's backed up by what he sort of grew up with the franchise, and the studio listened. And I think those are some of the positives of this film, actually, is that original Transformers fans will see things that they like, and they'll see new things as well.
I think it's taken a really new, nice direction, and there's a lot of heart in this movie. So yes, absolute delight. So do go watch it. It's in cinemas still now.
It's paramount that you go and see it, in fact.
Because it's produced by Paramount. Michael Bay also produced it, Tom DeSanto, and of course Lorenzo de Bonaventura. Go back and listen to that episode. It's fascinating. It's so fascinating of how Hollywood movies get made. And a treat for you next Tuesday, by the way, everyone. If you don't know already, if you've not seen our socials, myself and Dom sat down with the legend, the director and writer, the Oscar winner, Christopher McQuarrie. Woo! And we're talking all about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, the brand new movie, which is out next week. Oh my God, it is amazing.
Which you should be seeing. You really should be seeing.
You should be seeing. But that's next week for you. That's next Tuesday on the Filmmakers Podcast. So let's play the trailer. Then Steven Caple Jr. will jump back in to introduce the actors, Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback. So settle in for this first part of part 2 of Transformers Rise of the Beast special with myself and Dom Lenoir and director Steven Caple Jr. Enjoy. Transformers. Dom is in disguise.
There we go.
We're in the middle of an ongoing war. We'd love to have the big guys join the fight.
Roll out. Wow, that was corny when I said it out loud.
You've never faced anything like this.
On guard. It's about to go down. On guard. It's about to go down. On guard. It's about to go. It's about to go. It's about to go down. Who won't smoke? Who won't smoke? That's why I'm the team. So everybody is a click strap and they all go. Keep a stick till I branch poppy, but I ain't a troll. On my mama, can't nobody out here playing for no one.
If you keep your eyes open, life will show you everything you need to know.
Now that's top tier manifestation. Man to own the banter, just one answer, I'm an animal. Gorillas in the trap with them.
We fighting this alone or we fighting it together?
Together.
Let's get it. Turn it up to the maximum. To the maximum. To the maximum.
Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah, turn it up.
I'm never leaving Brooklyn again.
On my soul.
So we were at the premiere last night. We had a great time. How are you feeling? I mean, your movie's just come out.
It's crazy. Like, it's, so I'm a little bit like, all right, now we're about to step out there, so I'm feeling a little vulnerable today, a little bit. But in terms of the screenings, they've been great. Last night, the London premiere was amazing. It was beautiful, actually, everything from the carpet, but having Optimus Prime there and Optimus Primal there in our car Mirage, designs that I've worked on for quite a long time, and see them in person, and always it never gets old.
Yeah, man, it must have been amazing. For you to just go through it. Even us walking on that red carpet last night, it was like, wow, this is massive.
Yeah.
And you say, seeing the big Transformers up there as well, and that's and what's amazing.
Childhood dream, isn't it?
Exactly, and that was you, and that is kind of your childhood dream as well. With Beast Wars and watching them and getting this movie. Let's talk about that then. To go from, your fantastic Sundance movie to Creed 2 to Transformers. That's a huge leap in a very short space of time.
Very true. We've been working. I've been working.
Yeah, you've been working, and we were saying it's a fantastically accomplished film. It's super. You're a fantastic director. It's so good to see. Talk us through that for you and how that feels, the pitching process. I mean, obviously we'll go into it as much as we can, but maybe just you can sum it up in the moment of, making that leap.
It was early on. After Creed 2 is when there's a woman at Paramount, Liz Raposo, who actually used to be there at Paramount. She's the one who first called me and was like, look, I love your work. I love Mike, etc. She's actually running Michael B. Jordan's company now. And she was saying, there's a few things I want to talk to you about. Can you come to the studio? And I came to the studio, and it was Bumblebee 2 is what she said. And I was like, I'll be real with you. I just came out of Creed 2. And it's called Creed 2. And I was like, I don't want to do a Bumblebee 2. I was like, and it's nothing against Bumblebee. No. I saw the movie. I was like, it's a good movie. I'm I love Bumblebee's character. I love Transformers. And I'm just like, but I was like, I don't know if I could do a sequel, And and I didn't know where to take Bumblebee in terms of a sequel, just him. And so it didn't happen. The world went through 2020, so everything kind of stopped. Movies I worked on stopped. And so at the moment they came back to me, or 2020, and said, okay, we figured out what direction we want to go, and we actually have a script. And I was like, oh, what is it? And it's like, well, it's not Bumblebee 2, right? It's like, but it is taking place after Bumblebee. And I was like, okay. And it's like, it's a Transformers movie, but we're bringing in the Beast. It's the Maximals. And I was like, you mean Beast Wars? I flipped out. I was like, Beast Wars? I was like, I didn't know this. I didn't hear about this. I was kind of came out of nowhere for me. Maybe because I was doing other stuff in 2020, but when I heard Beast Wars was being made, I was like, whoa. And they're like, here's the script. And so I read the script, and there were some things I liked about it. There's Peru, there was New York, there was the Beast Wars, or Beast Element. But I wanted to give them more personality. I wanted to start Optimus Prime off somewhere differently. And the human characters were okay. You know, they served the story in terms of plot, but they didn't have any like heart or grit or anything like that I love, that I try to bring to any of my films. And so what I pitched them was the themes of Noah's Ark, no pun intended. In terms
I like the pun.
His whole arc, the whole thing with the military and like Elena's glass ceiling over at work and like her boss taking her credit. I wanted to really make sure these guys felt like nothing at the top of this film, like the world saw them as like, you're just here, a tool, and these guys become heroes. So I was like, I want the human characters to feel like heroes, because every time I watch Transformers, they don't. 1986 film, Daniel and these guys, they were heroes. They were wearing the exosuit, and then I was like, I want to bring an exosuit. And that's how that came together. And I was like, Noah has to transform and become a transformer. And then I pitched him the exosuit. The studio's really excited about the exosuit. They're excited about the themes. They're excited about everything that I kind of presented. The two things they were wary about were Unicron, because they were like, "What
it's a big thing."
Yeah, it was a different villain at the time. I can't even remember who the villain was. I don't even want to say it because they might try to bring him back if I'm not here in the next one. But the villain was like, it didn't cut it out for me, and I was like, who is this guy? I was like, nah. I was like,
who's this guy?
Yeah, and I was like, I feel like I also wanted to like introduce the universe in a big way, and that was my big pitch to them. So it'll go into my second thing they were kind of worried about, but the idea that there's more out there. So the Maximals are something else. Then the Unicron says there's another planet out there, and he has Terracons on him. That's his army. And so then I introduced Scourge and the whole nine. But they were like, how do we do with the size thing? And, isn't he supposed to be Earth? And I was like, I don't know how many people know what was happening in 4 or 5 of Transformers. I was like, I think we should take our own sort of like creative liberties and like focus on this.
And I love that you've brought it back to the original movie. I mean, like I grew up on that. It was just pure joy watching that movie like every time. And Unicron was the big. I mean, he was so big and so such a big villain. And you managed to bring in the personality of that film as well in terms of the characters. I mean, it sounds like the studio was very receptive to your ideas, which is incredibly refreshing to hear, I think, for filmmakers.
They were. Yeah, Paramount was, yeah.
I mean, how did you sort of go from the pitch to actually getting the movie? Was it just sort of they liked all the ideas and then that was it? Or were there other people you were against? Or
no, I think they dug the ideas. I think when does this come out? Can we talk about the post-credit scene?
Yeah, the podcast will come out next week. So yes. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, there's a not post-credit scene, but there's an ending movie where this organization is now also like saying what's up and introducing themselves into this potential crossover was the other thing. So they were excited about all those elements when pitching it to them. It was like, all right, can you make this work in a time given? And so that was a big thing. And so I rewrote the script with a few Darnell and Josh with 2 writers for like 2 months. So I got the job like late October, early November, and then we turned in the script in January, and that became like our shooting script. And it kept evolving from there. But they were pretty receptive, and like everything became just, can we pull it off? That was really it, and how, there wasn't any like sort of really strong pushback. It was maybe later on when we started to get into like a scene that we took out of the movie. I used to start way darker. Optimus Prime used to like kill Decepticons and dump them in the Hudson River, and you would see like all these bodies laying at the bottom, and it's like, this is what he's been up to for 7 years, is trying to get back home, and he doesn't like humans, and he feels like he's just a truck. It's that like there was a way darker opening. We shot that, so it will be released. It's a deleted scene. No, it is, but it was like a tone that I was like interested in, but and it was the right call for us to remove it out of the film just because of the Maximals and making sure that their story felt here. But other than that, no, and some of the jokes, Pete Davidson jokes, we told the line a little bit, but that wasn't until later, until we casted Pete Davidson, and I'm like, look, if we're casting Pete Davidson, it has to be like Pete Davidson. Like, we don't want the watered down version of him. And so like there's a few jokes in the film now that all Pete Davidson, and that
there's a few outrageous ones actually.
There was one that we all went,
big laughs.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, that's in a Transformers movie.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were though. The studio was pretty receptive. Yeah, and so were the producers.
And how did it feel? Like, you say suddenly you're now directing something that's massive and it's VFX that is not necessarily in your wheelhouse. I don't know, it might be, but not for the films I've seen of yours.
No, not at all.
So how did you approach that, and was that daunting in any way?
It was at first. I was a little afraid. I was like, oh man, like how am I do all this visual effects? But then there was a little bit of excitement, like, oh, I'm going to learn how to do this. So I only knew the basics. I knew green screen work. I knew extended punches because of Creed, things like that. Set extensions, all those. But I didn't create a robot from scratch, you know. And so it was a little bit of everything. And when I say it's research, watching every behind the scenes of the Transformers film, which I actually done before. I spoke to Bay, asked him, but most of our stuff was about managing, not design, but managing visual effects in houses. Because he's like, dude, I was on a time crunch for every film I did. And if you have to work with multiple houses to do a sequence, say this house and different set of artists are working on your fight sequence, your battle on Ellis Island, someone else is working on your volcano battle, you have to make sure, a whole different company is, that the primal looks like the same primal, that prime looks like the same prime. Wow. And you have to navigate that. And he's like, go see the artist, go over the artist's shoulders, give them some advice. It's easier and it'll help things move along quicker. So I'm flying out to Montreal, I'm flying out to these places to go speak to the actual artists, which was actually pretty cool because they were all excited because they don't get to talk to the director. But a shout out to Bay because that was Bay's idea, you know. And I was like, oh, it speeds up the process, but also now I'm one-on-one with an artist, being like, the reason we designed this robot this way is so his face could actually emote, or her face. So can you make this Air Razor's mouth transform like this versus like a talking beak, you know, so that way you have those liberties. But that helps when you're next to the artist. And it's like, that's our first convo, maybe our only convo, and then I'll leave that. But there's so many.
So how does it work in terms of, obviously you're not directing a 100-foot robot in real life. So how do you actually work? What is the process of working with the actors and the voice artists? And how much do you actually see in the sort of the pre-visualizations? How do you get those sort of human, you know, type responses from CGI?
So from CGI or from the actors? Or
well,
both?
I mean, from the robots, both. I guess. I mean, both sides of the same coin, isn't it?
No, it is. Starting with the previs, we usually only do the action sequences in previs, right? And it's because of money, mainly because you're like, it just takes a lot of time and you have to put a lot of effort into it. So we only do the action sequences in previs. So if I'm on set and I'm talking to Anthony and Dom, like, Dom, you guys are going to run, Air Razor's going to pick you up like this. And they're like, wait, how is she going to pick me up? Pull out my iPad and I show the video. I'm like, this is how we're going to do it. So everything's rigged and we are all set to go. So that's how the previs sort of worked, helped us on set. Performance-wise, and in the talking scenes, I usually storyboard. Or, kid you not, I just use toys. So, like, I would bring toys to set, and I would have Prime and all these guys. I'm like, here go the two humans, here it is. And I talk to the camera crew, we're going to get this shot, we're going to pull back. It's so much easier with toys than it is anything else. Like, it's really
fun.
Yes. And it's fun.
Yes.
You know, and the Transformers are actually toys. So, it's like, it just all panned out when you have all the toys of your characters on set. So, that helps. And I will do that for dialogue, you know, and then you get the poles up, tennis ball on top. And this is where the actors come into play. So with the actors, I failed my first week. Not the actors, I did. I failed them because I was very much behind the camera. And if the camera's on Noah, I'm reading the lines of Prime. Like, you know, oh, you let Cybertron down. Oh, Dada, I'm not an actor, so my lines weren't helping Anthony or Dom at all. So what we did was, not to them, to me, I was like, look, I want you guys to go there with the actors. And I know they're the robots, and I know they're not there. But performance-wise, I hired actors for each robot. So now on set, it was a stick, a tennis ball, and an actor next to that stick. And they had a microphone just like this, and they had an earpiece. Every actor had an earpiece, so when they talk and emoted, they heard it, you know. And so now it helps with the eye lines. The actors step out, and now everybody knows their lines. And Noah could be in the scene talking to the air now, but getting a great performance out of someone who's like imitating Optimus Prime. And this dude's all into it, and he's like a voice actor, and he's like, I love Peter Cullen. I hope I'm doing him justice. And then he got a whole totally different performance. And that was like day 3 or 4 that we had to adjust for that. Now the robots really quickly are different because the robots, I did something differently in this movie than any other Transformers, and I remember talking to Bay about it. He's like, you had a lot of shots on reactions and not action, meaning like Bay's like action driven, right? Yeah, like he's a goat when it comes to action. For me, I was like, I want reactions, meaning I will cut to Optimus Prime and there's no line. he's just nodding his head. He's giving a facial expression.
Love it.
So like that kind of stuff like wasn't done in the other films. And so for me, I had to, one, convince studio being like, look, I want to pay for this shot because I think people are going to relate and care about the characters more. But two, design-wise, can they emote? And so I would switch up the designs on everyone's face so they can emote. RC's face looks a little different. One, because I think it personally looks better, but now she can actually deliver a performance. Same with Prime. He's kind of like how he was in the other films, but when Peter Cullen went into the room and did his thing, I started to like, hey, let's turn Prime's plates a little bit more into Peter Cullen's face so he can do what Peter Cullen is doing. And like, and I just said the air razor thing, that was the biggest one because it took us forever to figure out because her beak was so goofy.
Right.
And in the design world, on paper, she looks great, but it wasn't until we got that first like animation in and you hear Michelle yell and it's like, bah, 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 and you're like, oh my God, like this is epic fail. And like, how can we capture what Michelle Yeoh did? And then we start to put like slits in the beak and we're like, what if it transforms so you can like actually do it? And then you could connect with a bird more, you know, stuff like that.
And that's definitely one of the things I think that's so good about it. And because the original movie and the original series, you really cared about the robots. It was all about the robots. And I think anything you can do to increase that is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, their faces kind of were like, I don't want to say human faces, but they kind of were like human faces with like a brush of metal over it. So they just did whatever they can do to emote back in the day with the cartoons, whereas us, we were like so specific on trying to use car parts and or metal, just to like stay true to like the DNA of Transformers.
And it came across so well. We do have to let you go, but finally, some advice for working with actors when they're working in something so big. What did you, just something there that you did that really helped? Not only the fact that what you just said, but anything else?
I mean, I think for us was like it's a big project. It was so rigorous, like it was taxing on everybody. I openly admitted like I worked the hell out of the actors and vice versa. You know, them and everyone worked the mess out of me. It was like we wanted to get to the finish line, and like it was tough moving from. You know, I think we've all done smaller movies and projects. So like Creed was all shot in Philly, In the Heights was all shot in the Heights. You know, it was like that kind of thing. Yeah. So for us to be traveling across the world and going through this sort of fatigue and being tired, like we had to find ways to motivate us. One was definitely music. Played music on set. We had long night shoots. We became a really tight family, close. We always ate together and things like that. Nice. So we're always on the same page. But the big thing probably for all of us was there was this moment in Machu Picchu, you know what I mean, that because we're in our own bubble. It's only me, Noah, and Elena for most of the movie. Me, meaning directing these two actors because all the robots aren't there. And once we leave New York, we shot a lot of this in Peru. There's only 3 people, you know. And so what happens is everyone else is working, but like you're in a bubble. And so we were in Machu Picchu, kind of in our bubble because it was quarantine. But while we were in Machu Picchu, they opened up the gates and were like, hey, we're letting people back in for the first time since quarantine. And they asked us legit, is that okay? And I remember the producers and everybody had this meeting. I'm like, dude, people travel all over the world. They haven't had Machu Picchu since whenever, 2020, right? And it was 2021 we were going into probably when we were shooting this movie. And we're like we can't say no. And they've been generous for us to shoot here. So we let the doors open. People are roaming around Machu Picchu while we're shooting and literally cheering us on as we're shooting our scenes. And that was like a huge motivator for us, man. Like that was like a real special moment for the actors, like to hear their names being yelled at from different accents across the world because so many people came to Machu Picchu to like see Machu Picchu. But little did they know that it would see Anthony Ramos and you're like, what, Anthony? Like you see him running across the field and it's like, Optimus Prime. And like they're going crazy and cheering and he's like dying of altitude because he's like can't breathe.
But he doesn't want to show that.
But he was going again now. Like let's do it again. And it's like that's crazy.
That's why we do this, isn't it? That's why we do this.
Exactly.
Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. We really enjoyed the movie and wish you a huge success with it. So thank you very much for chatting to us.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. Congrats.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
That was fascinating. I'm sure you'll agree. Really interesting guy with tons of knowledge. And you can see he knows what he's doing. You can hear he knows what he's doing.
You can smell.
You can smell. We were in the room with him. No, he smelled very nice. But you can get it, right? Why he got the job. It's just that confidence, that ability to sell yourself and know what you're doing and believe in it. And it's just evident. To jump from indie films to Creed 2 to Transformers. That's huge. Huge inspiration for you out there. So we'll now have the actors, the stars of Transformers. Anthony Ramos, who was the lead in the Heights. He was also in the film Hamilton as well. Other credits include Lyle Lyle Crocodile.
Giles Lyle Crocodile.
Honest Thief, Godzilla King of Monsters, A Star is Born, Monsters and Men, Patty Cakes, and White Girl. And joining him is
Dominique Fishback, fellow Dom, Dominique Fishback, whose credits include Swarm, The Proud Family, Modern Love, Judas and the Black Messiah, Project Power, The Juice, Random Acts of Flyness, The Hate You Give, Show Me a Hero, and Royal Pains.
and they were really lovely with their time as well. They'd obviously been doing a lot of press for the day, and we were the last people to chat with them.
Yeah, they saved the best for last, definitely.
I think so too. And there was a really nice moment when we finished, and they just did a little Instagram video of how they felt about the film, about each other, and we were there to witness that.
Obviously.
About us, obviously, yeah. But they were really nice
They were,
actors, really nice people, and it was a delight to chat to them. So, for the actors out there, you're going to love this one. For the directors and filmmakers, you're going to love what the actors say about working on a huge movie like this and what they want from directors. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback.
Hi.
Hiya.
How are you?
Hello.
Hi, Dominique.
Hey,
What's up, man?
What's up?
What's going on? Good.
Hey, good to see you.
How are
As
you?
we're starting.
Here, should we close the door?
Just close the door. It's all good. It's all right. It's a podcast.
Yeah, it's all
It's all
right.
right.
It's gonna be great.
It's because it's going to be great.
So how are you both doing? I mean, amazing movie. We went to the
thank
premiere.
you.
The
Yeah.
reactions were incredible. How are you feeling?
Wow.
I feel great. I'm so excited. I'm I'm excited. The movie's out.
Yeah.
I feel
nice.
relieved.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I'm about to watch it for a fourth time. I know. I don't know. I'm gonna go on 4DX. I'm gonna try watching 4DX.
Oh,
I haven't seen it
wow.
that way. I saw it on IMAX
Yep.
here in London,
Did you
which
see
was
Did you watch the premiere
I
itself?
was there. Yeah. I watched it with my family and my friends and stuff. So, yeah, it is weird because I'm like watching a movie that I'm in,
Mhm.
and I'm a fan of it. But it's like I'm just trying to watch it and pretend I'm not the person in it because I actually love Transformers.
Yeah, which is nice.
Facts.
Yeah, facts. And you looked amazing on the premiere night. You both did.
I love it. Thanks.
And how are you feeling as well?
I'm good. I'm very
Yeah.
excited. You know, we worked on this. We started 2021. So it's been. It was supposed to come out last summer,
What's
and they got pushed. So yeah, just happy to be here now, and you know, sharing all of these special moments with Anthony Ramos.
So can you talk us about how you both got attached to this movie? Like how does that actually begin for you both?
I met Steven. We had a meeting on Zoom. We just talked for almost 2 hours, and we just connected, man. He was like, "Yo, would you know?" He had watched my work and stuff like that, and he met with me, and he just basically asked me, like, the biggest thing was like, he's like, "Yo, like, what do you want to bring to this movie?"
Yeah.
And I said to him, he said, "Why do you want to do this?" And I said, "Honestly, bro, I want to do this because I want to bring heart to these kinds of movies. I want to bring something that hopefully maybe we don't get to see in these films, right? Sometimes it's about explosions or visual effects, and we go to these movies to see that stuff. But, you know, I want people to care about the humans. I want people to need the humans. So I want to go on that journey with you to figure out how to do that. And, you know, so thankfully he offered me the role, man, and I was hyped. Thought he was lying, but it was the truth.
It must have been amazing because the heart. You're absolutely right. The heart in this film is fantastic, and I love that. You know, often you do get robots hitting robots a lot, and that's great. It's part of it. But here you had the heart, and your two characters were amazing, and they really were. And I was like, I can't wait for these two to meet. And I love the moment when you met as well. It was just sparks flew. It was just great, especially in the action that was happening. And what about for you as well? Talk us through your moment of getting the role, how that felt for you as well.
Yeah, actually my team told me that they were going to do another Transformers, and I was like, I just did Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah, exactly,
I do a lot of drama things, and I just didn't know. You know, I knew I liked this since I was a kid. Watched even Stevens and Shia go from like a TV star to movie star via Transformers, and said I want to do something like that. But But when the offer came, I was kind of like, I don't know. And then he told me, well, Steven Caple Jr. is directing it, and just like sit with him and talk. So it's okay. I sat with Steven. He told me that he wanted Elena to kind of have her own arc, own autonomy, be separate from like the guy character in that way. And then they told me that they were talking to Anthony about it. And I was super excited about that because Anthony and I are both from Brooklyn, and we would meet in cafes and be like, oh man, we got to do something together, something really epic in Brooklyn. But we both got busy, and then it just didn't happen. So when he said Anthony, I was like, oh man, I would love to do this with Anthony. And I text Anthony like a bumblebee, like transforming. He's like, what you know? I was like, honestly, it's like they're talking to me about the role with three other girls, I think. And then I had to audition for it, and then I had to do a chemistry test with Anthony.
And you were all like, we already know it. This is done. Don't worry, we're already cool. We know each other.
I mean, I was like, look, what you want, smart, beautiful, from Brooklyn. You come on, man. Like, what are we doing out here? You don't get more authentic than Dominique, So I was, it was, and she's my homie for years. So I was just like,
rooting.
Come on, bro. What are we doing?
Yeah. So talking about the chemistry side, like, how does the process go for you in terms of preparation? Did you do any rehearsals? Did you meet each other before? What were the conversations like with the director? Like, how did that process work for both of you? Because you made it feel like a very close relationship with you both. Nice.
Did we did rehearse a little bit, right?
You and I, we reread it together on FaceTime when I was in Atlanta.
Right.
Just read the script and kind of like talked about what we was excited about, things like that. But we didn't actually have to like sit down and rehearse things. We were pretty comfortable with each other. And so, in fact, it kind of got in the way because Steven would be like, guys, you don't know each other yet. Like at the museum where we're running from explosions, and Anthony's like holding me and making sure I'm good and like super close. Yeah. And Steven's like, hey.
Yeah, he was like, yo, don't like stop holding on to her or like protecting her like that. I mean, you don't really know her like that, kind of thing. So,
yes. Yeah.
It was just instinctual because that's like, we've been friends. We've already, so.
So your instinct is to go, right, I'll go protect.
It's like, but.
He had a good point. Yeah, you don't know each other yet in the movie. You've just met.
Yeah,
so,
like, you're strangers.
Yes.
Don't forget, you're strangers at this point. But, yeah.
And how did the conversations with the director go in terms of, were there things on the page you were thinking, okay, I love this, but I'd like to sort of move into this, or maybe we can discuss these choices?
Don can speak to that.
What? It's so funny because I did give a lot of notes.
Oh, okay.
I did give, but from the beginning, Steven said, you can give me your notes at 2:00 in the morning. I didn't give him notes at 2:00 in the morning.
But you wanted to.
I spared him.
You spared him. Wait. Text. I've got notes.
I have to wait until 9 a.m.
Schedule for 9.
Reminder.
Yeah.
No, but I did that just because, like, coming from theater, I was in this theater company that in order to act, you had to write your own stuff. And so, like, character arc and all that kind of stuff is a part of my makeup in prepping for a character. Doesn't mean that I think that my ideas are the best and they have to be in it. It's just more so I'm a collaborator and I want to work with filmmakers who are collaborators as well. If you're looking for an actor that's like, oh yeah, you just go over there and act and do what I say, then I'm just not the right girl for you. So I just wanted him to know that, especially even on this big film, this big blockbuster, I'm still gonna be the same way I approach her, the same way I approach Deb and Judas and Black Messiah, or Robin Last Days of Tommy Gray is gonna be the same. But definitely gave a lot of notes, and one of the notes that I gave that's not in there, but we did try it out, was I did want, maybe against popular opinion, but I did want Elena and Noah to have a thing together.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know how audience members felt about it, but you hear like the fans being like, oh, we don't need that, we don't need this sometimes, but
you definitely felt that towards the end, like that moment was there, like, for anyone who wanted to interpret that way, for sure.
Oh, sweet. Well, but Steven's also really smart. He didn't want to put everything in just the first film. I actually like that the audience gets to know them individually, care about them, for themselves, and then kind of be like, oh, but what about Noah and Elena? As opposed to getting it forced on. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you can shoehorn these things in a bit because everyone expects them. This is kind of film, these two meet cute moment, even though there's a lot of stuff going on during that moment.
She punches him in the face.
Exactly. But and of course you want stuff to happen. That's the vibe. But then it's great that it doesn't, because like you say, it's not just this movie.
If we get another one.
But
I also have to say, sorry, but I haven't said this the whole press run, and I was very excited for something very small, that my character's name is Elena, and I'm a huge Vampire Diaries fan.
Okay.
And that his character's name is Noah, and I'm a huge The Notebook fan. So I was living in my tween girl romance dreams.
Well, you got the animals for Noah's Ark. So
Right.
Yeah. You got the animals.
Yes, that is an exclusive here.
Exclusive
Exactly.
voice. That's going to
You're
go
here
global. That's it. No, but that's cool. But talking of that then, and talking of doing notes, and talking of you as actors, and working with any directors, not just on this film, but it's sometimes hard, like you say, coming into a movie like this or other movies, to get your voice across, because directors come in with their vision, producers might have, the writer's already written the thing, and you're coming in to fill in a box sometimes, and I mean that in the nicest way.
True.
And I love that you've come in with notes. I think that's great. I think it's fantastic. How do you deal with challenges? How do you deal with getting emotions across, getting things that you want it to go a certain way, especially when you're dealing with big CGI? Let's bring it to Transformers. You're talking about big CGI. Anthony.
Thankfully Steven is open. He's very open. Some directors are not. Some directors are very much like, you say every word that's written on that paper, do not change one word, and that's the way it is, and that's how we're gonna do it. But Steven is not that way. Most directors aren't that way. Every now and then you'll find one that's like very militant in that way, but so it helps.
Yeah, and how do you deal with that? How do you sort of challenge that and go, well, actually, I don't want to do it militantly? And for our directors out there who are listening, it's like, it's important for them to know they're not actors.
Because you're trying to find the most honest moment, right? Every scene is about every moment in a movie is about finding the most honest part of that moment. So sometimes that moment isn't in there the way it's written. Sometimes you have to find that for yourself. Sometimes there's another way of saying something that feels more honest for that character than the way it was written, right? And then especially if a role was written one way and you weren't even the person in mind for the role, right? Your character now and the character you're creating and the arc, right, that you're creating could be different than the arc that was originally laid out on the paper, right? Like there's small little moments in the movie that we make up. The handshake between me and my little brother, even in the the home team, what we say in the movie, that comes from something my dad would say to me and my brother. Me and my brother say that to each other all the time. We text each other. The moment where we're chasing each other in the museum and she jukes me, that's all. You can't write that stuff down, but these are all honest moments. These are all very, even when Dom fell, and I'm like, are you okay? That's a very honest moment.
Yeah, because I did really slip.
Yeah, she really slipped, right? And so it's these, you can't, and it's just being open to changing lines. And Dom, there was even at the end of the film where she's like, we can't leave him, and B transforms, sorry, spoiler. I guess the movie's out, right? So it doesn't matter anyway, right?
I mean, it does matter.
Doesn't matter.
Bit.
It does matter.
You can hold it a little.
And do you ever have any difficulty dealing with the actual, dealing with a CGI robot or a tennis ball on a string, like that side of things? Like, is it a challenge? Do you have to really bring the internal side into your mind before you start acting, with the robots, so to speak?
I think there's definitely a challenge. I think all actors are different. Coming from theater, it was like in school you do a monologue and no one's there.
So that's great training.
You're creating a world that that the audience has to believe is happening. So in a similar way, to me, it was like, oh, I recognize this. And I have a one-woman play where I play 20 different characters, and so I'm literally emoting to myself a lot of the times. So to look up and see Aries and feel away is not the hard part. More so it was the remembering the different heights where each robot was, kind of where they're moving. And you have somebody reading the lines to you, but they have to say, RC says da-da-da-da, because they're not changing their voice. So, you're listening out and you got to remember who's where. And then me and Anthony have to look at certain actions at the same time in the same direction, without looking at each other, and that was the difficult part, I think, for me.
Yeah, like dealing with the CGI and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of what Dom said is same. How I don't want to take her in. I've been taking her in since this whole press tour.
I go say it and then he say it exactly the same way.
You know, you just got to use your imagination. You know, you got to follow the eye line. She's like, "Oh man, I said all of that already." But
you just weren't listening.
You zoned out, bro. Pay attention.
But generally working with directors, how do you like to work? Do you like to rehearse before? Just like sometimes you don't got time, especially on indie films. You haven't got time. So do you like to come in, rehearse? Do you prep? Do you like notes from the directors? Do you like little tweaks, or do you like let's start again, let's break it down? Just maybe talk us through that for us.
I like to rehearse. I enjoy rehearsing. I think rehearsal is important. I don't like to beat it in the ground.
Sure.
I like to keep it fresh enough where it can still feel like a new moment on set. But I love to rehearse. I love to walk through a scene. I like to read through the script with the cast. I enjoy that. It gives me a full scope of what is going on. It's different when you're reading it by yourself. And for me, I'm just not one of those people that it's very difficult for me to really know what the full scope of something is by just reading it myself. It's very helpful for me to hear other people's voices and for me to, feel that the stage person reading the stage direction, like, okay, the car crashes here and the explosion happens there. Noah and Elena run this way and right? Like for somebody to read that aloud and for me to hear that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm envisioning. It gives me the time where I ain't reading it and trying to envision. I'm just envisioning. I'm listening and envisioning it. And, it's cool to listen to the other actors make choices and kind of those initial choices, even though it might not, most of the time it's not going to be the choice they're going to make on set, but it's cool to listen to that because it just helps me. It's just like, okay, cool. That's what their voice sounds like with that character. This is what, so all of that's helpful. Going through the scene,
And when it sort of comes to the scene, do you like to kind of go in with a lot of explosive energy and those first 5-10 takes, that's like your real attack plan? Or do you like to sort of warm up into it, see how things are going, start playing with it, sort of move into your rhythm?
I mean, I give it my best effort for sure, but I definitely those few takes are warm ups. I would say, okay. Because it's my first time on the set, so I gotta feel it out. Because sometimes sometimes I make a different choice based on I didn't know a pencil was gonna be there.
Yeah.
I didn't know there's a TV in front of me. I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? There's just certain things you don't know until you get on the set. You're like, oh, damn, I could do something cool with this pencil while I could be clicking this pen right here like this while I'm doing this scene, right? This could be like a little tick he has or just small things that you just don't know until you get to the set. So you try to do it in the camera rehearsal. You try to find those things as much as you can, but sometimes you can find it in the scene.
And how about you, Dominique?
In terms of
like whether you like to sort of build into the scene or whether you kind of like to hit it running, and
especially if it's an emotional scene, because it's sometimes you've got to build up to that moment and the cameras are ready to turn, and you
can get rid of it very early, or you can kind of save a little bit and get your feel first.
I'll go for it.
You go for it,
100%, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting because in TV show that is Swarm, there's a couple.
You also produced as well, right?
Yeah,
congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent.
But there's a couple of scenes like you just didn't have time, and we were shooting on film, and so I just did like it would be like one take, and they'd be like, all right, I'm like, what are you doing? So I've learned quickly to like just give it my all in the beginning.
So that's a director trick sometimes to sort of make because sometimes you don't have time. So sometimes they'll just do one take on a scene that they know they can cut round or do a wide on. So just go one take so that next time you'll deliver on the first take. It's quite interesting.
Or shoot the rehearsal.
Yeah, or we'll shoot the rehearsal.
I love when they shoot the rehearsal. Because sometimes the rehearsal's better.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're thinking less too in the rehearsal.
Going with it, right? And just playing.
Are there many differences between this and an indie film in that respect? Because obviously an indie film, sometimes you don't have many takes. And what are the other differences from this, say, and a sort of a more intimate drama?
I feel like for Transformers, ironically, it felt really intimate. I don't know if it's because I don't know if they wrote it specifically with COVID in mind because we still were in COVID, but it was me and Anthony a lot of the film together. There's no robots, so therefore it's literally two actors that they have to bring to set, and then everybody else is kind of crew. So that made it a little bit more intimate and it felt a little indie. Obviously, it had a lot more money and things behind it, but there was an intimacy that we had and that Steven allowed us to have to bring it in, talking to us about character and like, oh, where is he at when he says this part? Like, really giving it the time.
Yeah, which is why it stands out, I think. Which is why I think you both come across so brilliantly in this film. And you compare it to something like Hamilton or In the Heights, which I loved you in the Heights. It's so good. That's so good.
Thanks, man.
Comparing that to sort of like the indies and then the musical side of something to then going into this, the differences on that, are there any for you as an actor?
Yeah, I mean, it's different. It's different doing a musical than to an action movie or, epic kind of movie like this, but there are a lot of similarities. The choreography, right? You learn in choreography, you got to know where to be, where to stand. You got to stay in shape for these movies. It's the same. A lot of the same for something like this, right? Action sequences, there's fight choreography, there's all different types of, certain ways to move. If you're shooting a cannon, a certain way your arm is gonna move, right? The recoil on the cannon, what does that feel like? What is you're dodging? You're shooting, then you're dodging something, you're shooting right back. Like this, it's all movement, it's all body movement, right? So you got to figure out what that feels like in your own body. It's the same as choreography and musicality. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about a story, man. I treat the scenes the same way I write songs. My new single is out, by the way, Viano, Holla. And you just treat them the same way, man. It's like a beginning, middle, and end. What do we want to say here? What's the point?
And if I had one more question, because I know we've got to wrap up. If a director or a filmmaker is trying to get a script to you, like through your agent, obviously, what kind of appeals to you? Do you like personalized letters? Do you like pitch decks? Is it just pure scripts? Like, what kind of interests you in a role? And that's for both of you.
Dominique, start with you.
What kind of interests me in a role?
Yeah, or in what the presentation. So your agent says, "Oh, this is just a ride for you."
Just want the script, or do you like other materials, like a personal letter?
No, the script is good. Personal letters are cool, but if the script ain't, But I definitely don't like. I mean, the character breakdown kind of throws me sometimes. It's like not really, because it's so funny that a lot of the films and projects that I've done, my first instinct was always no. And I had an agent at the time, and she would be like, "Okay, Dom, like just take it and read it, for the weekend. If you still don't want to do it, you don't have to do it." And it was before I had any credits, but it would be stuff like in this indie that I did called Night Comes On. It would say like, "Oh, 18-year-olds getting out of juvenile detention center or whatever," and she wants to like kill her dad, and I'm like, ugh, like why do I don't want to do, or like playing the ghetto sister and the hate you give and those type of things that felt super stereotypical. So I find that the character breakdown does never truly excite me. And a lot of times I just need my agents to tell me, like, they know what I like, essentially. They know at least the themes that I'm looking for. So if they be like, this is something you should definitely check out, I get to it a little bit faster.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's
Get
good.
the agents on side.
Yeah, and what about yourself?
Yeah, you've picked a lot of really special roles though. Like you've been very specific. Every role is different too. Like all your work is like nobody could watch your work and be like, "Yo, she does the same thing." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Very, very. Like you did the dialect in Judas and the Black Messiah. Like you had different faces with Dre. Like even your role in The Deuce, she was the one character that you felt the most. So you definitely
good publicist,
yeah, serious. Now I watch all her stuff. She knows I watch all her stuff. But for me it's about the story. I don't really want to do. It's been very few times. I'm guilty of saying that I've done one job for a check. I have one job for a check.
Sure,
but the rest.
Not this one.
Not this one.
No.
This one was a blessing. It was a good story that came with a check.
Yeah.
But but I did for this job. I did ask them. I said, they wanted me to commit without me reading the script, and I was like, nah.
Good. Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry. Like I understand this is a big opportunity for me, and this could change my life in a big way, and it's Transformers. Like, yeah, I know. Like, trust, I'm a fan, but I have to read the script. I cannot do this job and sign on for 6 months of my life or 7 months and know that it's a story that I don't care about.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that is all of the people we've spoken to on this film has been in common, is that everyone really cares about the story. Everyone is giving notes, everyone's giving thoughts, and it's all being taken in the right way and making good drama, basically.
Yeah, and you two are brilliant in it. Honestly, congratulations. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for
joining us.
Thanks
for having us.
Chatting us. Thanks,
you.
guys, and good luck with the rest of this.
Yeah.
Get some rest.
Thank you.
So it's a transformative role.
Yeah, there you go. Come on.
I was waiting the whole time. I couldn't find you to put it.
So there you have it. That was what a lineup that was. Steven Caple Jr. and then the actors Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback. Weren't they lovely?
What a joy, eh? What a joy.
What a joy. And it just goes to show, you can go and make your huge Hollywood blockbuster. You can do it today.
Exactly.
You can at least go on the journey towards it today. You can do something about it today. Whether that's working on that script, getting things polished.
I think if we learn anything, it's that, when you get these kind of guests on, you look back 2 films in some of them, and they were doing an indie film. So you're only ever 1 or 2 films away from a Hollywood movie. So if you're ever watching these Hollywood things and thinking, oh, this is out of reach, it's never out of reach. It's 1 or 2 films away.
Totally agree with that. Very well said. So go out there, do it today. Make something happen. And if you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, just as Anthony Ramos, Dominique Fishback and Steven Caple Jr. have done, it is your duty to
transform the elevator back down.
Yeah. Send the transformer back down.
You could send the transformer down the elevator if they fit. But it would have to be one of those. Have to be one of those mini transformers that fits into.
It would be. Yeah. I hope you have a really, really great week, and look forward to next Tuesday's episode when we have on the director and writer of Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning.
Whoa,
Christopher McQuarrie.
Yeah. Bit of a Paramount takeover on the your pod recently, isn't it? They're getting a good 3 or 4 episodes out of this.
Yeah, they have.
We get quite a lot out of them as well. So it's a good relationship.
We're very happy with it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Melissa.
Yes, that's for you next week, everyone. So look out for that. I mean, wow.
I know.
He was amazing.
Outrageous.
Got an hour chatting with him about storytelling and about why that's so important in film. You do not want to miss that. That is Christopher McQuarrie. Oh my God. It's going to be amazing. Till next Tuesday when we have a mission, should you choose to accept it.
You better do.
Bye, everyone. Okay. Bye.